Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today and being on the call. We are going to work together today to learn a little bit about OYAP, the high school connected program that allows students to explore the skilled trades and also get a head start on apprenticeship, which is the post-secondary pathway for learning and training. I'm so fortunate today to have two spokespeople with us from some employment service agencies who do a wonderful job in supporting our young people in the transition from high school to post-secondary learning and training, which is apprenticeship and different careers. So we're going to hear from them a little bit later, but I wanted to introduce with today Florencia from Youth Employment Services and Linda from Support Ontario Youth, who will be taking a few moments a little bit later on the session to explain the wonderful services their organizations provide. So thank you for being with us. We'll hear from you in a little while. I myself, my name is Katerina Mayetta. I am the OYAP recruiter here at TCDSB, and it's been my pleasure over the last 6 years to work with students and staff to share information about the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program and how it connects and gives students a head start on apprenticeship and post-secondary learning and training. So as I said, that's going to be our focus today. If anybody has any questions, they can always get a hold of me through either their local guidance counselor or co-op teacher or through our oyaptcdsb.com website. So what can you expect to learn from today's session or hear about from today's session? Today, we're going to do a brief overview of skilled trades and apprenticeship and what you can do to get a head start with OYAP. Also, we're going to hear, as I mentioned, from Florencia at Youth Employment Services. We'll hear from Support Ontario Youth, that would be Linda. And last but not least, we're going to cover some frequently asked questions when it comes to how do I transition or how do I get involved with apprenticeship while in high school. I thought we'd start with a common understanding. I know that people listening to this particular session may be at different points along their journey in high school or getting ready to exit high school. We may have students, guardians, or even staff who will be reviewing this. So we're going to start with a common understanding. So what is OYAP? If you don't know, OYAP stands for the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program, and it allows students to earn credits towards their high school diplomas. It's a specialized version of co-op. OYAP doesn't have its own curriculum necessarily. It's connected to the co-op curriculum, so students to participate must have co-op on their schedules. And affiliation with OYAP is available to any co-op student who chooses to explore a community placement or experience in one of the 144 skilled trades. And you can see this sign right here behind me, this banner. They're hard to read, and I know there's over 144 different skilled trades considered or designated as apprenticeable in Ontario. What does that mean? That means that after high school, you can get post-secondary level or standards, instruction and training towards a career in one of these trades. And because there are so many trades, our government has neatly organized them under 4 different categories or sectors. So you have approximately 30 different careers under the construction sector, about just over 35 careers in the industrial sector. Motive Power has about 25 careers, and service has about that 25 careers. So there's different jobs and different areas of specialty in these 144 across these 4 categories. So if you're new to the journey, or maybe still discerning meaning trying to figure it out, you might want to explore either a category or a number of careers related to one another to sort of hone in on what you might want to do next. As I mentioned, OYAP is a high school program. It's for fully registered high school students. There are 3 major different types of OYAP students can participate in while in high school. Those are those green sort of boxes on your screen. Depending on how interested or how much experience you have, you're going to connect with your co-op teacher, because as I said, OYAP lives in co-op, and they're going to help you figure out what type of OYAP student might suit you best. So you might be an OYAP participant, that's someone who is just exploring. Often we see this for grade 11s, or also grade 12s is fine. We also have an OYAP registered status, and what that means is a student is more sure of their pathway, more sure of the trade they want to enter. And in this case, since they have a clear idea of where they want to go and what they want to do when they leave high school, their co-op teacher is going to work with them to secure a training agreement with a sponsor so that they can count more of their co-op hours towards their future apprenticeship. Last but not least, we have accelerated OYAP, or sometimes people refer to this as level 1 OYAP. And this is a specialized version of OYAP, only available to grade 12 students in their last semester of high school. It is highly competitive. Applications typically go out in October every year in every school board. Here at TCDSB, it's always the month of October. And the applications usually close the first week of November every year. So this is something that can be expected by students and families. It's competitive because there's only a certain number of seats into level 1 apprenticeship training. Normally, if you were somebody that wanted to be an apprentice in any one of those 144 trades, you would, once you graduate, have to find a job, secure a training agreement with a sponsor, and then after about a year and a half, year and a half, you get access to level 1 standardized training. In the case of an accelerated OYAP student, while they're still in grade 12, they're going to apply to this program if they get in, and they usually find out just before the holiday break in December. If they get in, then while they're in semester 2 or the second half of the year, they're going to actually attend for 40 days. They're going to leave their co-op class and they're going to attend a training institution and have access to level 1 while still in high school. So that's 2 for 1. You're going to be working on your Ontario Secondary School diploma through your co-op credits, as well as your level 1 in an apprenticeship in a specific trade. If this is interesting to you or something you want to pursue, I highly recommend that you take co-op more than once because it's a competitive. One of the criteria, or one of the things a lot of the interviews look for are people with experience so that you're sure about the trade you want to enter. So those are the 3 different types of OYAP available to high school students. And some people on this session may have already just completed it. For some of you, you might be thinking about this as a next step for your timetable, either this summer or during the school year. So depending on your journey, you may be very well versed in these, or this might be a learning point for you. What is new for everybody is what's coming in September. So announced this year across the province, there is going to be a special seal of distinction available for students on their diploma, and it's called OYAP FAST, or Focused Apprenticeship Skilled Trades. And this is available to students who, in their um, course of their high school, are able to accumulate 8 to 11 co-op credits. And in the last bundle of those credits, they're able to get a training agreement with the support of their co-op teacher. So that's a lot of information if you've never heard about it before. And even for us board people who are new to this, because this is new for everybody, you really want to connect. Well, my recommendation would be connect with your local guidance counselor, co-op teacher. They're going to help guide you to see if OYAP FAST is the right thing for you or something that you can work towards in your high school journey. If you're graduating right now, OYAP FAST is not available to you. There's tons of other benefits being affiliated with OYAP, but FAST is coming into effect for the next school year, 2025, 2026, and onwards. A tip for my graduating students and or students that are going to be entering into co-op and OYAP is stay organized. So often we'll get questions about, okay, I've participated in OYAP, what do I do next? And so that's why we have these lovely speakers with us today. They're going to give us a little bit more insight into some services that are available. But I also wanted to share with students some fundamental things you can do to prepare yourself for the next steps once you're leaving OYAP. So one of the most important things, if you weren't good at it during high school or you're still trying to master it, is get organized. It's really important that students keep their co-op placement log sheets that sort of they give evidence of your experience and your learning. You want to keep a letter of reference regarding OYAP, which usually your co-op teacher will prepare. Your co-op teacher will also prepare and help you provide you with an OYAP certificate. You want to keep that somewhere, and a copy of your OSSD transcript, your diploma. You're going to need this if you want to pursue apprenticeship. You're going to need that to submit to Skilled Trades Ontario, which is the organization that's going to help you navigate apprenticeship moving forward. They're the ones that kind of keep record of everything in conjunction with Ministry of Labor, Immigration, Training, Skills Development. But STO is going to be your kind of first point of contact. You want to remain in good standing and in contact with at least two people from your previous co op placement for future references, right? We never know where life is going to leave us. We always want to leave a positive footprint behind us and good reputation. So make sure that if you're just thinking about co op or as you're leaving your co op OYAP placements, that you're working on these things so that you can add them to a portfolio, keep them handy and organized, whether it's a digital or a hard copy, and you have access to it in the future. If we look at OYAP next steps, so again, for my graduating students that might be watching, the OYAP and apprenticeship, really apprenticeship across Ontario, went through a huge change on April 2nd of 2025 this year, and we're still navigating all the ins and outs of that change. And so some things will continue to change briefly as we proceed over the next few months. But these are some tips on what to do next if you're leaving your OYAP programs. So it is a little different if you're a registered OYAP student or accelerated student, because they would be the same. You have a registered training agreement. There are some steps you should follow. And then we'll also cover what you should do if you're not a registered OYAP student. So that means you're either an OYAP participant, you were just exploring, or maybe you just didn't have time to fit it in your schedule. And so we'll give you some next steps as well. Let's just take a quick look first at if you're a registered OYAP student or accelerated OYAP student. That's that student that took the level one. You need to consider the following. If you're 18 years of age or older, you are required to create an online application for apprenticeship at skilledtradesontario.ca. That's the website. It's going to you're going to create a portal. That's where you're going to navigate, collect, and sort of access different documents that you're going to need to follow through with apprenticeship. So if you're 18 years of age or older, and I know some of our graduates are 17. So for our 17-year-olds, if you're not quite 18, you can still apply for formal apprenticeship, but you must first download and submit a paper application. So if you go to skilledtradesontario.ca and you go to start an apprenticeship, you'll see an option to select under 17 and under. How do I apply? And you have to fill out a form first, submit it to Skilled Trades Ontario, and then that will allow you to create the online portal like above if you were 18 and older. If you get stuck for any reason, way, shape, or form, what you can do is call Skilled Trades Ontario at 1-855-299-0028, and they should be able to provide you with some supports on what to do next. So these are the steps we've been given in an ideal world. If everything goes smoothly for those students, you're going to that are 18 plus or 17 and requested through paperwork. These are the steps you're going to follow once you graduate. If you had a registered training agreement or you participated in level one apprenticeship, which means you also had a training agreement, you need to go to the Skilled Trades Ontario portal page, select create new portal account. Again, that portal account is what's going to give you access to everything apprenticeship after high school. Select if you're a registered OYAP apprentice, and then you're going to select Create My Ontario account. When creating your account, use the same, this is important, use the same email address you used on the request for registration form. So you would have provided that to your co-op teacher, and your co-op teacher would have provided it to someone like me, your OYAP recruiter, and we would have entered that in the system. So you need that email. This is the form you complete and get signed as an OYAP apprentice. So that was what you did in high school. Contact Skilled Trades Ontario. There's another toll-free number there you can call, or if you're in Toronto, a direct line right there. So 647-847-3000. And the hours are usually between 8:30 a.m. and 5 o'clock p.m. Provide the following information to them. Let them know that you've graduated high school. Let them know how old you are. Let them know that you're an OYAP apprentice and that you have a registered training agreement. And also very important, let them know if you're staying with the same co-op employer that you had the registered training agreement with. That means that employer that you have right now, the co-op employer, and they're now hiring you and paying you. Or if they're letting you go, you need to let STO, Skilled Trades Ontario, know you're no longer with that co-op employer. And maybe, let's say you have someone else new lined up, let them know who that new person is. And you have to also let them know that you've created an STO or Skilled Trades Ontario portal account. Some key questions to keep in your back pocket when you're interacting with those people over the phone. Remember, they're new at their job too. This transition is brand new as of April. You might want to make sure that you ask them, what are my next steps? Ask them specifically, do you need my transcript or diploma to move forward? How can I update my schooling preferences for level 1? So once you leave, you actually get to choose what your preferences are for level 2 training if you continue forward in the trade. So these are all things that you can do and consult with STO about once you leave and create your portal page. Now, these are the steps. We talked about registered students or accelerated students. These are the steps for students who were OYAP participants, meaning they do not have a registered training agreement. They were just exploring, or for someone who never took OYAP at all. They decided last minute that this is what they want to do, or maybe they didn't have room in their schedule to take the co-op. These are the steps. So anybody who wants to pursue apprenticeship, find an apprentice sponsor. That's the first thing. What does that mean? You have to find a job, someone who's willing to pay you and sponsor you as an apprentice. They have to be a full journey person. You can reach out to Employment Ontario offices or employment service offices like the lovely people we're going to speak to next for some support in finding those careers and jobs. Visit the start, once you secure that sponsor, secure that job, you want to visit the Start an Apprenticeship page. And you can do that by literally Googling. In Google, put Apprenticeship Ontario, and that will be your first URL that pops up. And you want to start an apprenticeship. Review how to start an apprenticeship. Gather all the information required in step 3. And then you're going to go back to the STO portal page or the STO apprenticeship portal page. And you're going to follow the same steps as we discussed. Create a new portal, select if you're applying for an apprenticeship, select Create My Ontario account, and follow the steps in the drop-down menu. Again, I've provided you with the contact information in case you're getting stuck or need additional information. You want to make sure you contact them after you create that portal page as well. And you're going to provide them with similar information to the last screen, that you've graduated, how old you are, etc. And again, I provided you with some questions to guide your conversation with that Skilled Trades Ontario personnel. I know that's a lot of steps, and you're probably going to have to pause this a recorded session as you're working through. So feel free to come back as many times as you need. And this will be available for you. This recording will be available in the future. But I wanted to show you just some of the many, many, many Ontario-supported employment service agencies that can give you some help. You may be familiar with some of these logos around your communities as you walk and sort of navigate or make your way around the city. But Employment Ontario provides support for job seekers as well as Support Ontario Youth, who we have Linda Lottie on the call with us in just a moment, who will explain some of their services. Youth Employment Services, or YES. We have Florencia, who will explain some of their services to us in a moment. There's also ApprenticeSearch.com, where you can create a profile and get some supports that way. There's YMCAs across on Toronto and Ontario that can also provide you with some support. And there's an organization called COSTI, which deals with employment services. And really, we could spend a whole hour just talking about all these wonderful organizations. But without too much further ado, I want to pass it over to our special guest. We're going to go into detail to give you an idea of some of the services you can access if you need them post-graduation, and or supports that you might need throughout your learning journey. I'm just going to stop sharing and I'm going to hand it over to Florencia, who will join me on the screen. Hi, Florencia.
Hi, Katerina. Thank you very much. And hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Florencia. I am the External Relations and Marketing Coordinator at Youth Employment Services, also known as YES. So today I will be sharing who we are, what we do, and how we support youth and job seekers in finding jobs and building the skills and confidence they need to succeed in the workforce. So here's our roadmap for today. I'm gonna give a quick snapshot of our organization, the numbers behind our success, the core support we offer, how we help youth in getting a job. I will also walk you through our trades program, and last but not least, different ways to stay connected. So, a bit about who we are. We are a nonprofit organization that's been around for more than 57 years. We are based in Toronto, and we provide pre employment training and job search support to youth and job seekers. So, our mission is to help people build the skills, confidence, and connections they need to succeed at work. And we do this by working very closely with the government, with businesses, and community partners. Um, Last year, we guided more than 14,000 young people with an 85% of success rate in job placements. So we are really proud of the impact that we are making, helping thousands of young people take meaningful steps towards employment, education, and long term success. But we couldn't do this without the support of our community, employer partners, and funders who really believe in our mission. um so I always wanna like I always like to divide our programs and services into four different pillars. The first one will be employment services, because we provide a very personalized coaching and job search help for youth and job seekers. We also provide skills development and industry training. So we offer hands-on certifications in growth sectors like the tech, trades, and customer service. We also have entrepreneurship and business development, where we include mentorships and business planning for youth who want to launch their own ventures or small businesses. And last but not least, we also have very specialized support services, where we offer mental health and disability inclusive programs to assist those ones who are struggling with finding a job. So now I'd like to give you a quick overview of the core services that we offer at Yes. Um, these are the supports that are available to all job seekers, regardless less of the program that they are in. So some of the services that we offer are one-on-one career counseling and goal setting. We also help them with their resume, with their cover letter, and we prepare them for the interviews. We also give them access to an extensive job board and employer network. We also offer paid pre employment workshops and industry certifications, and always, always, always ongoing support after placement. So there are other ways in which we also support youth and job seekers, and this is through our programs. So at Yes, we offer a wide range of programs designed to support youth and job seekers with different needs and different goals. So each program helps participants overcome specific barriers to employment, and this includes hands-on experience to really prepare them for the workforce. So some of the programs that we have, first one, it's called the Lighthouse Project, where we support job seekers who self-identify as having any mental health issue or challenges. So this program offers paid work experience along with career counseling to help them build confidence and find meaningful employment. We also have B-Start Entrepreneurship. This is a program for young entrepreneurs. So over 6 months, participants receive expert guidance to launch and grow their own business, learning everything from business planning to marketing and much more. So it's really hands-on experience. Then we have This Way Onward, where we help job seekers who are interested in retail careers. So participants gain retail training, job search support, and we give them the chance to work at Old Navy, so they get like a real paid placement. We also have another program that's called Career Jumpstart. where we have partnered with IBM. So it's a 14-week program that helps participants earn their IBM cybersecurity analyst certificate and build foundational skills to start a career in tech. We also have our Yes to Trades program, which is a pre-apprenticeship program where participants receive 8 weeks of hands-on experience in painting and drywall. And they also get between 8 to 12 weeks of paid placements. And then we also have Job Central, which is a 13-week paid training program where we equip youth both with skills training and paid work placement, helping them to gain this practical experience while earning an income. Then we have, of course, other programs more, they're shorter, like we have Prep IES. It's like a short-term paid training program for youth between the ages of 15 to 30 who are facing specific barriers to employment. So it includes group workshops on resume writing, interview prep, and work-life balance. And participants also receive one-on-one job coaching to build the confidence and skills they need to enter into the workforce. And then we have another program that's called the Yes Nets, which is a national program that helps young people overcome also employment challenges. So we offer training in entrepreneurship, financial literacy, digital skills to help youth become more independent and better prepare for today's job market. So I want to give you an overview about our Yes to Trades program. It's our 8-week painter's trade program for out of school and out of work youth between the ages of 16 to 29. It's a full-time program, and participants get industry certifications like working at heights, first aid, confined space training, and more. And this is followed by an 8 to 12 week of paid placements because we work very closely with different employers in the trades industry. And then participants will gain hands-on skills in painting and decorating specifically, including surface preparation, applying paint and finishes, repairing walls, installing wallpaper, and more. So these skills really prepare them for real world jobs in the painting and decorating trade, like specifically. So to support partners and participants, we always have available our program flyers, an overview of all the programs and services that we offer more in depth, our 2024 annual report and success story library. We also have our mental health toolkit, and all these resources can be found at our website, which is yes.on.ca, or you can ask them by email. So thank you very much for your time. We are really proud to support youth and job seekers in building their skills, confidence, and pathways to employment. So if you want to learn more about our programs and services, you can visit our website or you can contact us at the number or email address that's shown on the slide. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Florencia. That was very informative and lots of information. I have a feeling that those that are viewing this session are going to, just like mine, are going to have to pause through yours to make sure that they're making notes and being able to follow through. But thank you so much for your time. Good luck. I know that you have quite a busy day ahead of you, spreading the news and the message as far and wide as you can. So thanks for being with us, and hopefully we'll have you back soon for another conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So next, we're going to have Linda Alati from SOY, which is Support Ontario Youth. And Linda is going to share with us some of the wonderful services that her organization provides to support youth looking for skilled trade careers. So without further ado, Linda, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. And I'm assuming you're seeing my correct screen, correct? Okay, so hello everyone. I'm Linda Alati, as Katarina mentioned, and I'm here from Support Ontario Youth. I happen to be a trade manager for the 309A electrical group. So I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the services that we have at SOY. First of all, just to let you know, SOY is a not-for-profit charitable organization where we try to raise awareness around the skilled trades and provide resources to job seekers and apprentices, and also support the employers. We are here to also help with, through education and help our apprentices get to, that we sponsor, to successful completion to journey person status. So we are a group sponsor, and we support around 13 different skilled trades, and these are the ones that are listed here. And like I mentioned, I support the 309 trade. It happens to be our largest group. There are two trade managers now supporting this group, and we have other trade managers to support the other trades that we support, like mold maker, industrial electrician, tool and die maker, plumber, welder. Okay, so these are the, in terms of the group sponsor, these are the trades that we support. However, we also have a workforce development program that incorporates other aspects to our resources and what we do to help create awareness and support of our program participants. One of the things that I'm going to talk about a little more in depth a little on is our Tools in the Trades Bootcamp. And this is something that would be available to the graduating students, grade 12s, because at Support Ontario Youth, we're here to support those who are exiting high school and those that are already have exited high school. So you have to be a high school graduate and 18 years of age in order to be part of our program and receive our supports. In addition to the Tools in the Trade boot camps, we also have a trades readiness program. And this will allow us to help our participants be as ready as possible for a career in the skilled trades. So we look at things of how do you prepare for a career in the skilled trades? How do you best go through that job seeking period? And what are some of the things you need to be mindful of, and what happens, and what do you need to do in order to keep a job in the trades, which is just as important. So what I want to speak about now, and Katarina Mayeta has already done a fantastic job in letting you know about how to transition properly from being an OYAP student, so that grade 12 graduate who's been in the OYAP program through co-op, to life after high school. So I'm just going to quickly go over some of the things that we as a group sponsor really appreciate when you come to us as a former OYAP student who might come to us as an apprentice. Some of the things that we will ask you for so that we can help you help honor the time that you spent in OYAP and make sure that those hours or competencies are then documented and put forward to your formal apprenticeship post high school. So like Ms. Mayeta said, that high school OYAP certificate that you might get is really important. We do ask for this because this document will also have where you had your co-op placement, what skill trade, and how many hours. And that's how, especially for those trades that are hours based in the construction sector, this is critical. Without formal documentation, we can't include those hours when you start your formal apprenticeship. So that keeping a record, like Mrs. Mayeta said, is really important. So whether it comes in the form of a certificate or whether it comes in the form of a letter of recognition from OYAP, that either one would work for us. Or of course, you can always go back to your former co-op employer through your OYAP supervisor and get a letter from them. A letter reference would work as well. Okay, but sometimes this is something that you already might have in your back pocket, and it would be good for you to present it to us so that we can then honor, as your possible future sponsor, we can honor those hours and put them forward to the continuation of your apprenticeship. In addition, for those of you who might have received while you were in co-op a registered training agreement, not all of you are maybe be in this position. That definitely those of you who have done a level 1 program, the accelerated OYAP program, or some of you may just have received a registered training agreement. Making sure that you have your training standards logbook is really important. You may have, by the end of your OYAP experience, have one competency or two competencies signed off by your OYAP supervisor. So make sure you keep this booklet. It's really important. You may have received a hard copy, or you may have downloaded it from the Skilled Trades Ontario website. So whatever you do, keep this in your back pocket as well. It's a little big for the back pocket, but keep it. And also important to note that for those trades in the industrial sector, the service sector, or the motive power sector, this booklet is very important. Okay, so those are the sectors that require this booklet, the training standards logbook, that need to have every competency or skill or task signed off on, so that you, by the end of your apprenticeship. And what's important to note is that it shouldn't all be signed off on the same date, because this booklet does need to be submitted to the ministry, and they like to see a progression of learning. So ensuring that as you move along your apprenticeship in the future, that you have this booklet and you get it signed off by your training supervisor, the JP or supervisor that's overlooking your apprenticeship at your workplace, to sign off as you complete and master every competency or skill or task that's listed in this booklet. So if you have a couple of those already done, don't lose this booklet. What's really important as well, as you're entering the workforce and you're leaving high school and you want to look for a job in the trades, because some of you may not be continuing on with your current employer that has given you that co-op placement. You may need to move on and find another employer, and that's what happens to most students. Having a skilled trades based resume is really important. We at SOI also run webinars and supports for those that need help and guidance in making sure that their resume is what it needs to be in order to get recognized, and so that it is truly skills based and focused on the things that are necessary, or that are important to skilled trades employers. So making sure, and I know a lot of your co-op teachers have, at the end of your co-op placement, are ensuring that you do an updated resume. So please do spend the time in making sure that you have done this. And if you do want some feedback or further support on this, you can definitely reach out to us at SOI, whether it's through a coaching call that we could provide, or even better, some of our live webinars that go over this in depth. Okay, so as Mrs. Mayetta has already mentioned to you, really important at the end of June, when you graduate, that you do connect with Skilled Trades Ontario and you close out that OYAP RTA and let them know whether you are going to move on to a new employer or whether you are going to stay with your co-op employer. Okay, really important, because a new RTA does need to be created. It's when you are entering mainstream apprenticeship. Okay, so that's really, that information Mrs. Mayeda gave you is really important. And make sure that you do update your email with the ministry. I know most people don't use their school board email when they sign up with Skilled Trades Ontario, or they sign their RTA. But if in fact that did happen, please make sure you're using a personal email in order to eliminate any technical problems that may happen as you're trying to register as a formal apprentice after high school. I just want to review with you, one of the important things as you're starting to look for employment after high school in a skilled trade is really to do your research, really to know and understand what the trade is all about. Many of you have done a co-op or have done a co-op in a skilled trade, and you have a good idea, but some of you may be trying to explore other trades as well, as you've not kind of pinned down exactly what you may want to do. And that's okay. But there is a lot of information for you on the Skilled Trades Ontario website. I've provided you with a QR code here that will lead you to what we call the Skilled Trades Ontario trade reports. These trade reports are really good to give you a snapshot of what the labor market conditions are like in that particular trade, what the educational pathway is. It obviously describes the trade, and it provides just a key overview of the characteristics and the workforce demographics of that trade. So keep in mind also when you're looking at the salary at the bottom, those are just averages. Salaries vary from company to company and across Ontario. So these are just averages, and the ones that we're looking at here are on the left, the industrial mechanic millwright, where the salary range is $32,000 to $46,000. It could be less, and it could definitely be more. And then the trade that I oversee, the construction and maintenance electrician, $35 to $50, and I definitely many make a lot more than that. Okay, so investigating your trade, really knowing what it's about, especially what the working conditions are like, and making sure that it is the right fit for you is really important. So July 1st is coming up quickly. So what happens then? Well, you're going to embark on a job search if you're not able to stay on with your co-op employer. And like what Mrs. Mayetta said, the first step in an apprenticeship is getting that employer. Not a necessarily easy thing to do, but it is the first step. What is really important? For those of you who have OYAP experience, you got a bit of an edge because you've got some experience. And if you had that RTA, you can also leverage that to say you've already begun your apprenticeship. But what employers really want to see in an interview is you being able to explain how you are going to be a good fit for them. Okay, so these are what I've got here on the screen. Are some of the most important traits that through the Employer One survey, which is conducted by our workforce planning boards right across Ontario every year. These are the traits and the work habits and whatnot that employers have said are the most important that they're looking for. Are you coachable? Have you been able to show initiative? Can you pull out examples of from your work or life experience where you've been able to do these things? Do you have integrity? Okay, so not just being able to say, yes, I have integrity, but what can I offer as evidence and proof in terms of your work experience, or even go beyond that and think about your life as a student and what you've done outside of school where you can show and demonstrate these traits. Do you have a positive attitude? Are you reliable? And are you a team worker? So making sure that you are able to speak to these points is really important. Having experience is a great asset, but being able to get the job, and more importantly, being able to keep a job and make it through a probationary period, you need to be able to demonstrate these things. So you need to be able to really understand what these traits mean and what they look like in the world of work, and how you can ensure, maybe in an interview, that you are able to speak to how you've been able to demonstrate these skills. So I want to just introduce Joseph Sherbalak to you. He is a soy mentor, which means he is a journey person. But more importantly, Joseph was where you are right now. He, he did the OYAP program in high school. He did the accelerated OYAP program in high school, and it is now a journey person in the 309A electrician trade. So I want you to hear from him about what life, what it was like to leave high school and how to get that first job. So some helpful hints from Joseph.
First year will be the hardest part, like to find a job, right? Everyone wants people with 3 years experience, even 2 years experience, 4 years experience. One of the strategies I did was find jobs online, but I had simply Googled every electrical contractor within a 25-kilometer radius of my home. and I made a list, and I started not only applying online, but even the companies online. I show up at their door the same day, tell them, hi, like, my name's Joseph. I'm looking to continue my electrical apprenticeship. And that's the key word. You say continue to already implant the idea that I'm not a green apprentice. I have some kind of experience. I'm not trying to start one, I'm trying to continue one. He was respectful and gave me the time of day because I showed up. I could see he kind of wasn't taking it seriously. And the second I said fire alarm, I instantly saw his face change, his tone change, his posture change. He's like, oh, it's like you know fire alarm? And I'm like, absolutely. I'm like, that was one of our biggest things at the old company. This owner had licensed electricians who didn't know a thing, who tried to run jobs, failed, cost time, money, material. He asked me 3 questions on the spot. I successfully answered all 3. And his next words out of his mouth were, well, how about you start tomorrow? It's very easy to turn down a number. It's very easy to delete an email. It's a lot harder to get rid of somebody when they're at your front door. First year will be the hardest.
Sorry about that. So I just want to, Joseph had a plan, and you heard what he said. He Googled a 25-mile radius where he was willing to travel to for work, and he went to every employer that he could. He didn't just rely on online applications. He went door knocking. He presented himself, and he made it hard for them to say no to him. And he leveraged his experience from OYAP and explained what he did. And even though it was a little bit of experience, for some employers, depending on what the jobs are and what they need, it may be enough to get you at least an interview. So having a plan, executing it is really important. And one of the things you can do is come to our boot camps where we talk a little more about what's that job search strategy like for you after you, when you're looking for a job in the trades, and what are the realities out there. So one of the services that we provide is the Tools in the Trades Bootcamp. This is a one-day experience where you get hands-on experience in the skilled trades in a particular trade that you're interested in. We run them often for electrical, HVAC, plumbing, carpentry. We've done hairstyling, and we're bringing in more other types of trades as well. The great thing about it is you spend a half day on the tools with journey people guiding you, teaching you. You leave with a toolbox full of tools. All of this is for free, and you do a half day. You do a 2-hour workshop with us in terms of a little more about the important employability skills. So basically, what's important that you need to do in order to get a job, and what's important to think about and do in order to keep your job in the trades. Okay, so I will show you some a QR code that you can click on and identify where our boot camps are happening. Okay, by coming to one of our boot camps, you would automatically be enrolled in our program. Okay, so by filling out a boot camp application online, you would also be part of our Jobtimize group. So that means that you are part of our program, and you would have access to all the other resources that we have available for you, okay, that I mentioned in the trade readiness programs, okay, which would include webinars, live webinars with JPs on all different types of topics. We have a learning management system. We provide some health and safety training, and oftentimes some of these they're free of charge. Everything we do is free of charge because we are, as I mentioned, a not-for-profit and charitable organization. So if you are interested in coming to our boot camps, this is the QR code for you to click on and sign up. This is an example of our bootcamp schedule that you will see on our website. Okay, so if you go to our Tools in the Trade Bootcamp website, it'll bring you down to the bootcamp schedule. As you can see here, this is the month of July. We have many boot camps on the go and open for registration for the month of July and August. This schedule is constantly being uploaded, and and you will then see more and more boot camps being provided. So it's something that you want to go back to and check on a regular basis. Please keep in mind we only can accommodate one participant for our boot camps in our fiscal year. Okay, so you can always come back to us after next April 2026 and do another boot camp. But if you do choose to come to one of ours this year, please choose one that you are very interested in. And you'll see many of the ones that are happening in July are in the GTA area, in Thornhill, Toronto, Cobourg, and we've got them in carpentry, HVAC, plumbing. Go to our website. You'll see more for August, and more will be uploaded to the site as the boot camps become confirmed. And we're doing them from now all the way probably to February, March next year, and then we'll redo them again after next April. Okay, so definitely come out to one of our boot camps. As I mentioned, we have apprenticeship. We have webinars. One that's coming up is our Apprenticeship 101 live webinar that is going to be happening very soon. Yes, July 2nd at 4:00 p.m. So if you want a little more about what we do and a deeper dive into apprenticeship and what it looks like post high school, then please join us on July 2nd at 4:00 p.m. Our trade managers, Sarah Serrano and Lori Rice, will be leading that particular webinar. We have other webinars up and coming, as you can see on the right part of the screen, a plumbing webinar, electrical webinar, safety first webinars with prospective dates. Once you go onto our website, you'll be able to see all of these upcoming opportunities for you. But remember, you do need to join our program. Once you hit apply now, that'll bring you to how you join our program, then filling out the online application, which will then provide you with all access to all our resources and upcoming events and opportunities. One of the last things I want to talk to you about is the Learning Networks of Ontario. If any of you need additional supports in terms of math, because we know that math is a big part of a lot of the trades, being able to measure using the imperial system in inches and all of that is really important. And some of the things that we hear from employers that some apprentices lack skill in and need some refreshers. So the Learning Network of Ontario, there are 16 offices across the province that provide free educational resources and support for people that require some additional help. They are a great support, and often many apprentices or non-apprentices seek out their resources to help them refine certain skills that they need an additional support in to be more successful in the workplace. Want to bring up one other opportunity for you. If anyone in this group here is interested in the Brick and Stone Mason Pre-Apprenticeship Program, we are working with OPCMIA, which is a local training center for the Brick and Stone Masonry Group. They are providing a pre-apprenticeship program that begins on August 25th and ends November 14th. This is a free program. Once you have completed this program, you are likely offered an opportunity to join the union and to work with them. If this is something you're interested in, this is happening in the Port Hope area, which may or may not be accessible for some of you, but you may know someone out in that area and be able to, stay with them for a while to do this program. If it's of interest to you, we from time to time have these types of opportunities available, and these are some of the things that you would be able to access on our site should you become part of our program. And that's it for me. I'm not sure if there's a question period. I don't think there is. So
no, that was
Thank you.
amazing. Thank you, Linda. That's a ton of information. And
Yeah.
at one point, I actually got my camera out because I was learning things and taking screenshots. And I'm like, I've got to come back to that and take a deeper dive. So that was great. Thank you. It sounds and seems like SOY, Support Ontario Youth, is doing a large array of work and providing services in different ways and access points to young people, connecting them with industry in ways that work differently and better for some people, different opportunities. So that's really amazing. I know that that was a lot of information. And again, I can see people stop starting this session to try and get it all down like I did when I had to pull up my phone and take, I think, 2 or 3 pictures there at some point. But thank you so much for your time. We wish you the best of luck the rest of your day, and hopefully we'll be able to speak again soon in the future. Thanks, Linda.
Thank you, Katarina. Take care and have a great day. Bye,
You too.
everyone.
Bye-bye. So we heard some really amazing things from these the guest speakers that we had on today from both Yes and Soy. One of the things that I heard repeatedly, I mentioned it, Linda mentioned it, is really one key point for those people transitioning from high school to full apprenticeship is you want to make sure you're using a non-TCDSB account. So for OYAP students at TCDSB, we have through your co-op teachers mentioned and reminded that we try not to use board accounts for that affiliation piece. So your non-board email is going to be very, very important. I have an onboard email that I started when I was about your age, and I continue to use for all sorts of things. And yes, I have quite a bit of storage on it, but it's important for continuity that you set up that email if you haven't already, and that you're transitioning. For grads, you want to know that your TCDSB account will eventually stop working your email. So you want to make sure that you are using that non-board account moving forward for all things apprenticeship. I can see on the screen, there's a reminder. We have the oyaptcdsb.com website if you need more information. There is right now, last year's next step guide is posted, but the new one will be posted. And as updates happen, it will continue to be updated. So please feel free to visit that site, or you can connect with your guidance counselor or co-op teacher who can get a hold of me to give you some more answers if necessary. Linda also mentioned something during her presentation with Soy. She talked about if you're currently an OYAP graduating student and you had a registered training agreement and you're no longer going to be with that co-op employer, you need to notify STO, Skilled Trades Ontario. I mentioned this during, if you go back and rewatch this video, during the steps we need to take, whether you're registered or non-registered. That's an important piece, but I want to caution, right now, the information that we have is that when a student, a graduating student, is going to call STO to continue their apprenticeship journey, they need to inform STO, Skilled Trades Ontario, about whether they are continuing with their co-op employer and becoming hired, or if they're going to stop and are looking for a new employer or have a new employer. I want to let all our students know that the language or the words you want to use when you're communicating this to STO is that either you're continuing forward and you've been hired, or if you're not continuing forward, you tell them that you need to be terminated. The word is terminated with that sponsor and that you're going to get a new one. Okay, so this is really important. Um, and then that'll allow you to continue to get some high school supports through OYAP, as opposed to if you were completed, you may not be able to get those supports. So you're terminating your employer, you're terminating your co-op employer, and you're looking for a new one or have a new one, okay? So I just wanted to clarify and add to those. And then I wanted to share my screen and just wrap up our session today. So bear with me as I do that. Okay, that should be working for everybody. So those are the organizations we heard from, tons of information, but I often get a number of frequently asked questions, and I thought I'd share them with you in lead up to today's session from some of my colleagues, central, from staff, from students, a little bit of everywhere. So I often hear, where can I get more information about OYAP? So if those are for my students that are thinking or considering taking it, or maybe have it on your schedule next year, you can go to oyaptcdsb.com. That will have our board specific information. We upload our yearly OYAP guide. There's a big blue button at the top. You click on that button and it'll give you our yearly guide with all our program offerings. You can also go to the provincial site. This is going to give you basic general information. That's OYAP Pajot, that's the French version, oyapPajot.com. Or you can also go to the Ministry of Labor Immigration Training Skill Development site, long name MLITSD, and that's the ontario.ca page. And you'd look up Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program. I often also get asked, where can I get more information about apprenticeship? Again, that's that after graduation. Where can I get more information about that training learning pathway? And it is considered a post-secondary education pathway similar to college and university because there is standardized curriculum. So if you want more info, you can go to skilltradesontario.ca. So they have just become, as of April, the main source for information, your first point of contact. You can also, as I said before, go to the Ministry of Labor, MLITSD site, ontario.ca, Apprenticeship Ontario, or you can go to apprenticesearch.com. They're another employment service agency, non for profit, that helps connect job seekers with apprenticeship careers. And they have coaching just similar to Yes and Soy. Or as we heard today from Soy Support Ontario Youth, you can go to their site, or Yes Employment, a youth employment services .on.ca for their site as well. Two more questions I often get. If I'm still in high school and I'm considering co-op in an apprenticeable skill trade, who do I speak to? That's an easy one. You want to make sure you go speak to your guidance counselor teacher or teacher counselor and add co-op to your schedule. The only way to get to OYAP is through co-op curriculum or co-op courses. Another question I often get is if I'm graduating, but I never took co-op, can I still get into an apprenticeable skill trade? So in general, we've talked a lot about the traditional apprenticeship pathway. That is that you're going to get into an apprenticeable trade by securing a job, by finding a sponsor who's willing to sponsor you and hire you. That hiring is the formal piece to the apprenticeship. There's a second pathway. There are pros and cons to both pathways. There's also a pathway through the college programming. You can apply to a college in a technical program. Humber, George Brown, Seneca, Centennial, the list goes on, and you can get into one of their 1 or 2 year programs. That'll allow you to complete some apprenticeship expectations, but you will still need to formalize that learning. You will still need to find a sponsor. So college, as we all know, does cost quite a bit of money, and there's a time commitment. So you have to spend a year or two. But the good thing is, for those people that have very little skills or no skills, it can help you build the skills you need to land that first job. So college might be an option for some people. But the traditional pathway we spoke about today, for the most part, that is the most direct way. You got to find a job with someone willing to sponsor you who is a certified journey person themselves in the trade you want. So the example would be is if you want to be a drywaller and you work with a construction or home renovation company, the person in charge or the person who's going to sponsor you, if you want to be a drywaller, a drywall acoustic lath technician, that person, if they're a carpenter, can't sponsor you. They have to have the same trade you want sponsorship in. So a carpenter can only sponsor a carpenter. A drywall acoustic lath technician can only sponsor a drywall acoustic lath technician. So that's the key there, finding a job with a journey person that you want to pursue that apprenticeship in and having them support your application. So you can do that by just finding your first job. So if you've never taken co-op or OYAP in your high school, you can still pursue the trades by gaining some experience, highlighting it on your resume. So maybe you do some volunteering first, start networking with family and friends. I always say, put your feelers out there for anybody, whether you're an OYAP or not. Don't assume people know you're looking for a job. Don't assume people know that because you graduated that you're looking for work or what you want to do specifically. Talk about it. Talk about it feverishly with everybody who will listen. What do you want to do? What are you hoping to get into? Like Joseph, the video we watched, he went out and made sure that everybody that needed to know knew what he was looking for until someone offered him that first position. And last but not least, you can always reach out to one of the employment service organizations we highlighted today or any of the ones in your area. That's all for today and for this session. I really thank everybody for being on the call. I want to wish everybody the best of luck, whether you're still in high school or transitioning to your post-secondary education pathway. And I wanted to leave you with a little quote and a saying that I find influences a lot of what I do and what my family does. And that is a quote by Pele, one of the greatest soccer players of all time. He says that success is no accident. It's no accident. We have to chase our dreams relentlessly and shamelessly. If you want to get into apprenticeship, if this is what you're hoping to do with your post secondary life career, then you need to knock on doors. You need to build skills. You need to build a resume. You need to get support wherever you can. Sitting at home or waiting for something to come your way, it's just not going to happen. So things don't happen by accident. We have to get out there. We have to be resilient. And if we get 10 no's, 11 no's, 20 no's, you keep going till you get get a yes. And I'm sure from the hundreds and hundreds of students I work with each year, when they graduate and leave our system, I hear nothing but rewarding, satisfying stories about, yeah, it took me a year, through OYAP, or it took me a year after I graduated to land that first job and really start making my way up in the company. But miss, it was the greatest thing ever. It's been the greatest thing ever. I've been able to buy my first car. I've been able to help out my family. I've been able to rent my own place, and so on and so forth. So I wish you all the best of luck with your journeys. And if you need any help and support, hopefully you go to your local teachers and they know where to find us, and we will do our best to continue to help you moving forward. Thank you and have a great day.